October's inflation numbers are in, and although they may seem positive, let's take a closer look. For the first time since April 2021, the Consumer Price Index recorded what might be considered a meaningful decline. The nation's most watched headline inflation number increased 7.7% on a year-over-year basis, lower than September's 8.2% increase. The pace at which core inflation rose last month also declined. On a month-over-month basis, core inflation, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, increased 0.3%. And on an annual basis, core CPI climbed 6.3% in October, a slight improvement over the 6.6% increase notched in September. Relatively speaking, this is the rosiest inflation picture we have seen in a long time. But does it mean, to paraphrase former President Gerald Ford, our long national inflation nightmare is over? Not yet. Among the principal drivers of a lower headline inflation number is the Medical Care Index, which fell 0.5% after climbing 0.8% in September. Other component indexes that helped lower overall CPI last month are those for apparel and used cars and trucks, which dropped 0.7% and 2.4% respectively. Make no mistake, price pressures remain exceptionally strong in sectors of the economy that have a significant impact on the daily lives of Americans. For example, the Food at Home Index, a proxy for grocery prices, increased 12.4% on an annual basis last month. The Gasoline Index surged 17.5% year over year. The Fuel Oil Index was up 68.5% year over year, and the Shelter Index, which represents about 1/3 of CPI, saw its biggest monthly increase in more than 32 years. In my opinion, it's much too early to declare the inflation crisis is over, and analysts agree. The managing director at Morgan Stanley advised last week that even as we see a slowdown, prices remain elevated and have a long way to go before normalizing. Echoing that stance, the chief economist at Nationwide cautioned, "1 month's results do not constitute a trend, and the still elevated inflation rates will keep the Fed in a hawkish mindset." When we take a closer look, unless you are buying a used truck, the money you are spending on the things that matter is rising. Inflation is a tricky number, but for retirement savers, the numbers still represent a squeeze on lifestyle. Bottom line, it's likely that we still have a long way to go before inflation gets back to 2% or lower. And as Nationwide's chief economist suggests, that means we're in store for not only continued high prices, but for a lot more economic volatility as well. Until next time.